I'm so excited to be here with all of you again every single Wednesday. So fun. Welcome to Wisdom from Within. This is a podcast now. So excited that we moved from a live stream, which we're doing now today, and we've created a podcast, and just so thrilled about that. So this is where we access not only mindset, but body set. And we do that by having these incredible conversations with industry leaders and scientists and executives and parents and people that just live right next door to you. And these are truly conversations that reveal this intelligence, this deep wisdom that your body already has. And my mission is to help you awaken it and learn how to listen to it and trust its guidance so that you can be led by it and create the impact that you so deserve and the world desires and needs from you. So welcome, welcome. So today I'm so thrilled to have Kristen Rzasa. I said that right?
Yes, you did.
Yes. I'm so,
Thank you, Jen.
oh, thank you. Thank you for being here. I've been looking at all of your stuff, going really deep into it. And there's so many things that you do, and I'm going to let you speak to that. But there's something that I was called to read when I found it on your website. And I thought that this would just be such a beautiful way to introduce you. Um, so this is, I believe you wrote this. It's on your website. It's right there. And it
If it's on my
says,
website, I
it's
wrote, I
like,
wrote it then.
exactly.
I can't
It
wait to
says,
hear what it is.
yep, here we go. It's really cool to actually have words that you've written reflected back to you. At least I always find that so interesting when that happens. So it says, it is possible to feel brand new. So many of us have forgotten the innate rhythm of our life. We work until exhaustion. We achieve until depletion. We stop once forced, once we're forced, and we wonder why we aren't thriving. It's time to move to a brand new rhythm in your day, in your body, in your business, in your life, to live in alignment with your values, to spend your days by design, not by default. Our bodies are made to be healed, our minds able to be balanced. We are living in a brand new world. It's time to create a brand new rhythm for your life. I mean, that is powerful. And I
Thank
would
you.
love to start there. I would love for you to speak to that, and especially focusing on that rhythm and what that means to you. And first, tell us who you are, and then please share the insight beyond this passage that I just spoke.
Well, thank you. Yes, it is interesting to have someone read it to me. I wrote that probably about 5 years ago, and I
Wow.
updated that website, and it really sums up both my own personal journey and the journey that I take clients on. So for me, I have a diverse background, but there's always been certain threads through everything that I do, and that is being in alignment with our values.
Mm-hmm.
And when we create that rhythm in our day, and really starting with that rhythm in our body, something that feels aligned with the things that we value. And then that translates into our day and into our businesses. So I do a lot of what I call holistic business strategy, which is similar to business coaching. But the difference is we really do look at both of the internal aspects,
Mm-hmm.
which are the mindset and the energetics, which in a lot of in sort of your verbiage is the body set.
Right.
um, And then we look at the external aspects, and that is the time or the productivity. How are you spending your time? And environment, which is not just your physical environment, which is a piece of it, but also who are you spending your time around? What kind of clients are you attracting? Who are you networking with? That kind of thing, too. It's your community. And when the internal and the external kind of become aligned, that's when we really thrive. That's where
Mhm.
we find the peace and the joy in our bodies, in our minds, and in our lives. And what happens with a lot of people I have found is they're either all internal, they are doing affirmations and vision boarding, and they're just like working on their mindset, but they're not actually doing the revenue generating activities, for example, in the case of an
Mm.
entrepreneur, that will get them the results. Or
Mhm.
you have people who are hustling and posting on social media every day and going crazy there, but they don't really believe that they can create the success that they want. So they're very focused on the external. And most
Right.
of the time, someone is like a little bit stronger on one side than the other. And when we bring those into balance,
Right.
then that's where the magic happens.
Right. The rhythm that you're
The
saying, like,
rhythm.
we get in flow,
Yeah,
right? So
exactly.
I'm curious because you speak about so many things, and whether we're an entrepreneur or, a mom raising children or a dad raising children or in corporate America, whatever that is, and getting into that rhythm, into alignment. I'm so curious in your practice and with your expertise, where do you start? It really does lock in or connect to that wisdom from within that we're speaking about here today. So, like, where do you begin to get them into that rhythm so they can hear that wisdom to then go do the thing they want to do?
Yeah, sometimes that takes a little bit of time because I
Yeah.
think people get very focused on what they think the barriers and the obstacles are. And
Right.
most of the time, the challenges are not what you think they are. And
Mhm.
so it really begins with questions and
Mm.
listening, reading between the lines. And that's where we start. I give new clients a kind of an extensive coaching profile questionnaire to complete. And I actually just received one back this morning, and her reply was like, wow, this was deep. This was a lot. And when we start excavating that, then we can see, okay, I think what you think is happening in your business or why you're stuck
Mm.
is maybe is not the case. Maybe it's something else that you're carrying along with you that is impacting your results. And that's where we would start.
Yeah. I'm so curious to know what some of those questions are.
Oh, from the profile?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Um, Things like who haven't you forgiven? What is something you
Mm.
haven't forgiven yourself for?
Mm.
What are your what do you want to see in a year from now in terms of um your energy, your space, your
Mhm.
all kinds of things like that to kind of create some vision towards it, but also create some history. um, what kind of things are you needing to release,
Mhm.
both physically, emotionally,
Mhm.
beliefs? What are stories you're carrying with yourself,
Mm.
dragging along behind yourself that you're just getting tired of dragging? Things like
Mm.
that.
All of that is so important. I'm so curious to hear more about this. Like, in your opinion, and I know you have a psychology background as well, right? So
Yes. Yeah.
I I just wonder how you feel about looking at those wounds, looking at those things that are sort of getting in the way. Maybe they're tied to childhood or tied to an experience that we've had. How is acknowledging that and then walking towards releasing that helpful in someone's business to help them be successful in business? How do those things connect?
Yeah, well, one thing I always make clear is I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist, and chances are, if someone is struggling with some pretty deep, like personal things,
Right.
um, they would be very well served to have a therapist as well,
Yeah.
to work through some of those things. And that's
Sure.
not, I'm pretty clear on sort of my scope of practice,
Sure.
but I can give you a personal example
Yeah.
that came up when I was with my coach several years ago. This is going back probably 10 years. Um, And it was just like a random memory that I had about in my childhood. I have a younger brother, and he was always a handful. In case he listens to this, probably won't. But we would play games, and we used to play this game called Magnificent Race. In particular, that one sticks out of me. And he would always have like a tantrum if he didn't win. And
Mm,
my mother would say, just let him win. It's just easier that way. And I
mm,
realized that I have been carrying a story of like, just let the other person win. It's just easier that way. Like, I shouldn't win. I should step
wow.
aside.
Mm,
And I realized that some of my uh, obstacles to creating the success in my business, this is going back about 10 years ago, was because I had that old experience, that story. Now that could be
mm.
something I also unpack in therapy, but I just in coaching and strategizing with someone in their business, it is good to just uncover some of those things.
Yeah. So fascinating. So how did you so you uncovered that through like meditation or in therapy, whatever the tools were that you were using to dive in. And then how did you come to resolve it and release that?
Yeah, well, I think some of it is like one of the things I don't do this as in my business, but I have been on the receiving end of doing some work with internal family systems.
Yeah,
So if you're familiar with IFS, it's
very.
really finding out what is that part of me that
Right.
feels like I shouldn't win? What does
Right.
that part need? What does that part want?
Yep.
I'm not claiming in one in any way to be an IFS expert or therapist or
Yeah.
anything, but even asking those questions, just like what part of you feels like you should step aside and let other people get the business and not you? It
Absolutely.
does strike up some interesting conversations.
So, just quickly for the listeners who don't know about IFS, Internal Family Systems, was founded by Richard Schwartz. And it's a
Hmm.
profound practice that I have really dove into deeply into my because it parallels my work in many
Right.
many ways. So I'm very familiar, and it's just really about finding those parts, really that community inside of us, getting to know it from a curious place, not a judgmental place. Like you said so
Hmm.
beautifully, looking at this part of you, what does this part need to hear? What does this part need to resolve? And getting to know it as if it's a friend. And then, going from that healing perspective and then allowing it to serve you. I'm sure that coming from that place of healing that part has given you some wisdom and some direction in terms of coaching other people through
Yes,
it
yes,
has.
absolutely. And there are gifts from that part of me as well. And one of the
Right.
things that I hear a lot from people is, and that I know is I'm a great connector, especially with entrepreneurs. I'm always connecting someone like, you should meet this person, you should meet that person to help them win.
Yeah.
And I think that also came from sort of that step aside and let others win. There is like a silver lining with that. Like I have really helped to create a lot of powerful connections among other people in my communities. And it was learning that just because they're winning doesn't mean I don't have I'm not going to win, right? And we could all win. There's enough pie. I tell my
Exactly.
clients all the time, there's enough pie for everybody.
Okay, that's amazing. And this speaks to this podcast so beautifully because it's the wisdom from within. And
Yeah.
wisdom comes from many times, oftentimes, parts of ourselves that need to be healed, need to be released, need to be learned about, spoken to, asked the questions, what is it that you need? Because it was through that, if I'm hearing you correctly, that you really got to know this part of yourself. And not from a place of feeling sad or held back any longer. You overcame that, and all of a sudden this became an ally that then served you for
Yeah.
yourself and for your business. And that's the beauty of the wisdom from within. And I think we just need to trust ourselves enough to listen. And you did that so beautifully. I absolutely love that. Um, so I really enjoy talking to you and my guests about their personal stories relating to the wisdom from within. And that was
Mm.
a perfect example of how it really served you in your business. Do you have any other references, whether it's from a client or yourself, that can really speak to that and how it elevated you or a client in their life by really paying attention to the truth within?
Yeah, I think in my own life, the reason why I'm sort of in this particular chapter in the first place
Yeah,
is um, initially not listening to the wisdom within, but then learning from that. And that was a transition. I had a fitness business for many years,
right.
and I was just getting very burnt out from it. I was working crazy hours. I was operating under this idea that I'm so lucky and grateful to have this business, which was true, that I should just sacrifice myself for it, like, because I'm lucky to be doing this.
Right.
And I really drove myself into the ground,
Mm,
and kind of hit the bottom there. And so, having gone through that experience, that really helped me sort of transform, reinvent, and create a new path. And so I am doing what I am doing today, really because of originally not listening to that wisdom
yep.
because it was there. And then having sort of the crash and burn experience and then saying, oh, okay, I see what that was teaching me.
Right.
Now I need to pivot and make some changes so that I do pay attention to those messages that my body was giving me.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Can you recall on what some of those messages were? What did you feel in your body?
Well, I I ended up. I mean, I had 2 surgeries, because originally I had a fibroid surgery, then I had a partial hysterectomy, and I thought all was well. And I ended up on the floor, to be honest. I just
Right.
basically ended up crumpled on the floor in severe pain. And in another piece of that is leading up to all of this, there were many times that I would sort of say to myself, like, oh, I just wish I could take a break from all this. I
Right.
just need a break from
Right.
all of it.
Right.
So the universe was listening. My body knew I needed a break from it, and it gave me a break. And I
Yeah.
had an
Wow.
emergency surgery. It was supposed to be a 1 hour surgery, laparoscopic, and go about my day. It was on a Thursday, and they said, "Yeah, you can be back to work on Monday, and you can be teaching fitness. Maybe by Tuesday or whatever. Like you'll be in the next few days. It'll only be a few days." I woke up. And it wasn't 1 hour, it was 5.5 hours.
Wow.
It wasn't laparoscopic, it was a 15-inch incision.
Oh my gosh.
It wasn't 4 or 5 days out. It was 3.5 months out. And the first thing I remember when I woke up in the recovery room is my mom saying, "Who's going to tell her?" And I mean, I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything for myself. I couldn't sit up. I couldn't for quite some time. So my husband would like have to sit me up in bed and stick pills behind me. And
Wow.
I feel like that was for me the pivotal experience in my life that said, like, listen to my body. Like, my head was ruling things like, keep working, keep going harder,
Yeah.
keep growing the business, keep adding classes, keep, go, 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 go. And
Yeah.
it really is what kind of the piece that you read at the beginning from my homepage is sort of that's what kind of brought me to that place. We go until we get depleted, exhausted, we force it. And that is what I was doing. I was not listening to my body at
Yeah.
all. And so I believe that your body gives you little nudges. Oh, here's a little nudge. Here's a little
Right.
nudge. Oh, you're not listening. Okay, here's a shove. Here's a little
Yeah.
bigger, more shove. And
Right.
then if you're still ignoring it, it like whacks you over the head and says, "Fine, we're taking you
Yeah.
out for a while." And that is, in my case, what happened. And so it just came out of nowhere. Well, it probably
R
didn't come out of nowhere, but
right.
but it was a massive, massive tumor that
Ma
was yeah. So It kind of did come
Wow.
out of nowhere because I had this hysterectomy in January and this occurred
Right.
in October of the same year, the same doctor. And he's like, oh, I was just in there and this wasn't here. It was wrapped around my colon, wrapped around my
Oh my
ovary, embedded through my
God.
pelvis and down my leg. So it was a lot. It's a lot.
Whoa. Talk about overcoming. Talk about your body screaming. But then
Screaming.
you chose to listen. And how do you feel today?
Oh, I mean, I have some residual, things
Yeah.
that are a result of all of that. I had to have
Yeah.
another surgery a year later to kind of like put, clean it up, pick up the
Yeah.
pieces.
Yeah.
But overall, and I probably always have certain residual
Right.
effects of it. But
Right.
overall, great. And more importantly, now I listen. Like I will not push it. If something's happening, I was very much like, I can do it no matter what. I don't care. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that was my MO. Like that is how I operated in my life, in my business, and with my body. And
Right.
now I'm like, oh, it's saying now, just, take a little break, take a day off. And I do it.
Absolutely. Okay. Wow, that story. And thank you so much for sharing. And sorry about my dog.
Hi, dog.
Okay. She's like, barking at
She's
nothing.
excited.
She is excited. She's hearing you. She's cheering you on. She's saying, yes, you're listening to your body. Yes. Okay. I have a couple of questions. Do you think
Yeah,
that people need to hit rock bottom, right? Because there's so many rock bottom stories. People like, I hit my
yeah.
rock bottom and then I climb my way to the top, or, climb my way out of it. I mean, I have that too. I hit my rock bottom. And that's when I realized that I needed to start shifting the narrative that I was telling myself for so long that was holding me back for 2 decades. My rock bottom, your rock bottom. There are people, but I'm wondering as you're talking and people are listening, do they have to hit that severity? Do they need to go to that place in order to start listening? And if not, how do we start listening without having to go there? So I'm curious what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I would love to say, no, we don't have to hit that rock bottom. And society does not reward or encourage it at all. In a lot of workplaces, people are pushed to go harder. I think there's a lot of cultural narratives, particularly for women, even though I don't like to, gender stereotype it, where we can do it all, have it all. And so until we change the societal narrative,
Hmm.
I think it takes a very strong person to go against the grain in a way
Yeah.
and listen, because now I'm a very strong boundary setter, and I will often have people say, like, comment on that, like, oh, well, Kristen doesn't do this and she won't do that or whatever. And it's because I'm making my own boundaries of what is most healthy for me
Right.
mentally, physically, emotionally. um, but that is hard to do, and it's sort of not going with the grain in
Yeah.
our world,
I
I think.
understand that. I understand that. That makes a lot of sense. Do you have any tools or thoughts about to offer people around listening? So maybe they hit the rock bottom, then what? Or if they haven't hit the rock bottom, but their body is really trying to tell them something through sensations or through emotions, whatever it may be, what would be something you would share to say, okay, this is how you can start listening, or this is how you can, restore that strength within you?
Yeah, I think there are so many things that I incorporate and that can be helpful. Just being still. Like, I don't want to say meditation because people are like, oh, I can't meditate. I can't sit still.
Mhm.
Meditation, of course, but you can just reframe that and say, just being still and scanning your body and asking
Mm.
it questions. Shoulder. I've had a little shoulder injury the last week or so. Shoulder, how are you feeling today? And previous Kristen would have just kept going and doing all the things. And now saw the physical therapist twice on the road to recovery. Before, I would have waited 6 months before doing that because who has the time, right? But so I think just getting still and asking your body, doing a body scan, if meditation is resonating, then that's one thing. Journaling, asking questions and writing it out. Like, how am I feeling today?
Mhm.
Am I tired? Gauging it, because a lot of
Mhm.
times I think we're kind of going through life, or I could speak for myself, like, la, 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 I can't hear you, body, because I got places to go and people to see. So
Mhm.
I'm like drowning it out with busyness. So I think journaling can help us have a conversation with our body. I think
Mhm.
there are so many practices, like the practices that you teach. Um, I lead intenSati in addition to my business coaching, where we are embodying positive messaging and really as a way to tune into our body as well. That practice also always kind of brings me back home to my body. So I think those are some things for
Mhm.
starters
Yeah,
that
I
we
love
can
that.
do.
I really love the blend of business strategy and this kind of work that we're talking about right now. And I'm curious about for people that are listening that are either executives running teams or developing a business for themselves, how this blend really works and the importance of it, because it really sounds like, that personal connection to whatever someone is doing in business is sort of the blend and the connection that you're creating for them.
Yeah, I mean, one of the other tools, and I think it kind of ties into what you're just saying, that leaders and business owners can use is energy testing.
Mm.
Like, I do a lot of energy testing for whether it's like, which shoes should I wear today or which thing should I eat for dinner. But there also are ways in business, when you are thinking about, um, creating a launch and I want to create this program. Okay, well, how does that feel in my body? Energy test it. And there's also the difference between um, staying in your comfort zone and being stuck and stretching. There are the things that are clearly not comfortable in our body, and then those which we may want to stay away from. But then there's the things that might be a little uncomfortable, but that's just our, little bit of doubt or fear creeping in, or maybe questioning our confidence. And those little bit of nudges are okay. So it's making the determination, am I being challenged? Is it a choice or is it checking out? That's one thing that I often will ask clients. Is it a choice or are you checking out? If someone, for example, wants to start a podcast and they are like, well, I don't know if I should do it. Is that the way I should market my business? I'm a little nervous. Okay. Are you checking out from that? Or is it truly a choice that it is not going to be the right move for you, and perhaps writing is more your lane, right? So I
Mm.
think that's a way to apply it.
Okay, I love that. I think that's amazing. Is that different what you just said? Is that different from energy testing? Can you talk about the energy testing a little bit?
Sure. Energy testing, you can do it a lot of different ways. I personally use the sway test the most because I can do it without, a solo. Some people do, energy like kinesthetic testing.
Mhm.
But I'm not going to be asking my husband every day, hey, should I wear these shoes? Pull my arm, put my arm down. I can do the sway test by myself. And it really, um, you need to be well hydrated, then you need to do a baseline, and usually the baseline for energy testing is your name. So is my name Kristen Raza? Yes, it is. I would sway a little bit forward is a yes. Is my name Jen X? No, it's not. Okay. And then I can ask, like, should I attend this networking event? Okay, it's not for me today. I need to take a break. Oh, yes, it's a forward. It's a forward fold. So you just have to be
Oh.
super relaxed when you do it. I would stand up
Mm.
and do it, but I'll probably go out of the screen, the frame of the screen. So that's how I use it. And I will encourage clients to do that. Let's see, is this marketing campaign one that you want to invest in? Feels good. It feels good. Your energy is telling us, yes, you should, or it might be a no. And then it's like, you know what? Something's not right with it. Maybe you need to do a little more research. Maybe you need to shop around a little bit more and we'll see.
Mm. That is powerful. So
Hmm.
energy testing, and then the other piece that you were talking about, that was around choice. And what did
Right.
you call that? Choice or
Choice
This
or checking out.
choice or
Sometimes people
checking
are
out.
just like, you could easily said, you know what, I wanted to do a podcast. I really want to, but I don't know. Will anybody listen to it? I'm not going to do it. That's kind of like checking out because
Mhm.
you knew in your, I'm guessing here, but I'm suspecting you knew in your heart you wanted to do it,
Yeah.
and it was a yes for you. It was like I like to say, is it a hell yes? Then yeah, then we're going for it. Uh, but you could easily also talk yourself out of it, and that would be
Mhm.
checking out.
So how do you determine what it is? If it's checking out or checking
Yeah.
in? Yeah.
Well, I think that's a great conversation to
Yeah.
have with a
Yeah.
coach or a mentor to say, like, what are the reasons I'm checking out? Well, you know what? My plate is so full right now. And, you might say, like, I'm also putting a book out. And so, podcasts, as much as it feels like I want to do it, maybe it's not the right thing, time for it.
Right.
Me,
Right. Right.
so it's
Right.
not that I'm checking out. It's just that I'm being smart because I
Mm.
have all these other deadlines or I have a very
Mhm.
full client schedule and I'm not
Mm.
checking out from it. I'm just tabling it for now.
Mm.
It's not that I'm avoiding it.
Yes.
I'm being strategic about it.
Okay. I love those two techniques are so beautiful and so effective, I feel like, and speak to tapping into that wisdom from within because it's
Yeah.
your body telling you. It's that energy testing, like you said, it's that energy and
Yeah.
figuring out, is this a choice or am I checking out? All of it is relying, you're helping people really tune in into the body to see what the body is telling them to do.
Yeah, exactly. And Eden Energy, Donna Eden from Eden Energy Medicine is a great resource. I've taken some of their workshops and learned a little bit more about energy testing and just, I'm sure you can search it on YouTube or something and get some examples of how to bring that into your life.
That's beautiful. That I hope all the listeners heard that because that's incredible and I'm going to check her out and I will put that in the show notes as well. This has been such an incredible conversation. I thank you so much for your wisdom, for your expertise, your insight and your
Yeah.
vulnerability with sharing your story. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Can you please share with you're welcome. Can you please share with everyone how they can reach you? How they can reach you, connect with you? Yes.
Sure. Well, you can find me on all the platforms at Kristen. Uh, I have to spell them out. I think Kristen, Kristen,
Mhm.
Hallett, Hallett, Raza, Rzasa. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. It's just the H, not the whole Hallett. So Kristen H. Raza. And my website also is kristenraza.com. It's all the same.
Beautiful.
Rebrand under the name.
Amazing. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate you and I love your work. And I look
Thank
forward
you.
to more collaborations and connections in the future.
Absolutely. Me too. All right. I will see you
Thank you.
next week on Wisdom from Within. See you soon.